Hello, this is Erin Bradley with Surge Fabric Shop. Welcome to the final day of the Hannah Bralette sew-along. Today we're going to be attaching our elastics as well as our hook and eye. And if you are watching the videos but haven't sewn up your Hannah yet, don't worry, you have plenty of time. Final photos will only be due next Friday, so you have some time to go ahead and sew up yours if you want to be entered into the drawing for the $20 gift card. So to start, we're going to do the bottom band. And so for that, you're going to want your Pico Elastic. So this is my Pico Elastic. And what you're going to do is you're just going to very gently lay it down on the bottom. This is just for measuring how long you need it to be. So I'm not pulling it at all. I'm just laying it nice and flat, measuring along. And so now that I know how long that is, I'm going to actually shorten that by 2 inches. So here's the length of my bralette, and I'm going to take off 2 inches from that. And that is going to be the length that I'm going to use for this. And now all I'm going to do is I'm going to mark the middle. So I'm going to fold it in half. Mark the center point. And then I'm going to find the center point of my, my bralette, which is right here. And I'm going to attach it there. And I'm doing that with the plush side up and the decorative edge pointing in. So what we're going to do is we're going to attach it all the way along the bottom here on the front, and then we're going to flip it under and top stitch it down. So that's how you finish that edge. So I like to, again, mark the middle, and then I like to go ahead and clip the edges. So I've got that edge clipped, and then I'm going to clip this edge. And I'm going to use a zigzag stitch. So for all of our vertical seams, we went ahead and used just a straight stitch because those don't need to stretch. Any horizontal stitch in a bra needs to be a zigzag. So you're going to want to use a zigzag to attach it, and you're going to need to pull it slightly to make sure that everything gets attached correctly. And so you're not pulling the bra, you're just pulling the elastic. So you just pull it until it's just lays nice and flat on your bra. So again, zigzag stitch that, and then we will go ahead and top stitch. Okay, so now we're going to go ahead and prepare the straps. So to start, you're going to cut 2 pieces 13 inches long with your strap elastic. And then you're going to take your little slider, and you're going to stick it through one side of the slider with the right side up, which is the shiny side. The plush side is the back. And then you're going to stick it through the back, pull it down, and you want to pull it probably about 1 inch to 1.5 inches. And then I like to just clip it right there. And I'm going to do the other one. Okay, so now that you've got those kind of clipped in place, you're going to take it over to your sewing machine and sew right at the bottom here, just a straight stitch back and forth a few times to get it nice and strong, and get those that little loop sewn in place. Okay, so now that you have you've done your little loop, I'm going to show you how to finish the strap and add the little ring to it. So for starters, lay your elastic with the plush side up. Take your ring and slide it on the end that doesn't have the slider. Then you're going to fold it up, so now you have the right side facing you. And you're going to string it through this first side of the slider. So now you have made a loop here, but we need to now take the edge and string it back through the other side of the slider too. So it can kind of help to pull this loop that you had made before, kind of pull it tight so that you have room. Sometimes this can be a little tricky. My elastic seems like it's a little tight going in, so kind of pulling this out of the way can help. Once you kind of get one corner through, you can grab it and pull it through the rest of the way. Okay, so now we've made our straps. So the next step, so we had already attached that edge, the Pico edge on here, and we haven't folded it over yet. We just attached it. And one thing I did want to mention that I don't think I mentioned before, when you sew that Pico on with your zigzag, make sure the zigzag is really as close as you can get to that decorative edge as possible, and that's going to make it so that when you fold it over, the only thing you see is just that little edge of the Pico, the decorative edge. So again, you're going to do it really close to that edge. So now we're going to flip the bra over so that the wrong side is facing, and we're going to look for those little triangle spots that we had marked on here before, and that's where the strap is going to get attached. So we're going to take our strap and we're going to take the raw edge, not the edge with the little ring, and we're just going to line it up so that when you fold it over, it's enclosed. And so so you're just going to want to pin it right there. I'm going to do the same thing on this side. And you're pinning it so that the shiny side is facing in, so the plush is exposed or facing you as you do this. So again, I'm just lining it up with that spot right there, and I'm just going to pin it. And then I'm just going to do a little basting stitch there just to hold it in place. And then I'm going to come back and trim all this extra fabric off of here, and then we'll fold it up and top stitch. So first we'll go ahead and do the basting stitch really quick. Okay, so now that we have basted those straps in place, we're going to go ahead and trim back this extra fabric. So don't trim the elastic, just trim the fabric. So you just trim it back to your zigzag stitch. So you're just going to do that all the way along the bottom. And the reason why we do this is to get, so that when we fold this over, you don't have a huge fat seam here. So this just kind of gets rid of that extra fabric that's in there and makes it for a smoother finish. Okay, so now that you have trimmed all that extra fabric off that seam, you're going to go ahead and fold up that Pico, and then you're just going to top stitch all the way along the bottom here, making sure that you catch your straps as well, so that they stay in place. I like to kind of go back and forth over that a little bit just to make sure that they don't come out later. But yeah, so you're going to use a zigzag stitch and just go all the way along that bottom edge. Okay, so now that you have gone ahead and top stitched that peacoat down, we are going to take our bra clasp, and we're just going to make sure that you have the right amount of extra fabric here for this to go on. You can see here, looking at mine, I have quite a bit of fabric left over here, which when you take your, you're going to do your peacoat again. So this is going to get down slightly, but you can see here, I still have about, I don't know what that is, like a little over a quarter to half an inch left. So that would be a problem when I go to attach that clasp. I would have that overhang right there. So I'm going to need to kind of trim down my straps slightly, or sorry, my band slightly, so that this will fit. So for that, I'm just going to kind of lay it out and guess what I need to do. So again, I'm going to need enough to fold my peacoat down. So I'm going to need, I lay this next to here, and then I put my peacoat right up against that edge. So when I fold it, that'll work for me. And now I'm just going to mark with my scissors how much I need to cut off. So I need to cut off about this much. So I just kind of mark that on the end here, and I'm going to do the same thing over here. Lay this out, lay my peacoat next to it, and mark how much I need to cut off. So I have those kind of marked. So the next step is just to kind of slowly, cut that off, and I'm just going to make it still just kind of follow this. And I don't want to take it all the way, so I'm gonna end up kind of tapering it. To where I'm not cutting anything off. So that should, when I go to attach that, that should work. So I would do the same thing on the other side. You can kind of lay them next to each other so that you can get it the same. So now that we've trimmed down our bands slightly, if you needed to, we're going to be taking the Pico Elastic and attaching it along these arm seams here. So for this step, you don't need to cut it any shorter than this length. All you're going to really do is just stretch it slightly as you attach it. So I don't really cut a piece off. I just use my long piece and start at one edge and just slightly stretch it as I attach, and then when I get to the end, I just cut it off. So again, you're going to do that for both sides here. So you're going to do the same thing that we did on the band. You're going to do it plush side down, plush side up, with the decorative edge facing in, and you're doing this on the right side of the bra. Okay, so I went ahead and attached that Pico Elastic. I also trimmed down my edges here. So now what we're going to do is we're going to be, folding this over and top stitching again, like we did on the bottom band. I like to, with this, we've got our straps here. So I like to go ahead and fold that over so you can see kind of where that's going to hit there. And I just put a little clip right there just to hold it in place, and then I'll top stitch over it when I do the back. I also like to just check one more time that I'm going to be the right size for that, so that's going to fit perfectly there. And so if I had kind of messed that up a little bit, I could at this point, go back and fix it without too much hassle. Once you've top stitched that down, it's going to be a whole nother beast to try to fix. So again, I'm just going to do that on both sides. So I'm going to fold that down, clip that in place right there, and just verify that that's correct, which it is. Okay, so now I'm going to go ahead and just top stitch those down. Okay, so we went ahead and top stitched down those armpit seams. So now what we're going to do is we're going to attach the straps. So this is really simple. Just flip your bra over and take your ring and take the edge of your, or the top of the shoulder, and you're just gonna put it through the hole and just clip it down, and you'll just straight stitch that right there, and that'll be your strap. Now just make sure that you do it the right way and that nothing is twisted when you fold that over. So again, I'm just going to take this, go through here, and fold it down slightly, clip in place, and then you'll just straight stitch those. So I'm going to go ahead and show you how to do the last step here, and then you can just do it all at once and have it all clipped and ready to go. Now we're going to be attaching the hook and eye. This is really easy. You're just going to take the hook and eye, kind of open it up. With the hook and eye, this gets applied face up, and the little hook part gets applied with the hooks underneath. So what you're going to do is you're just going to put it in the middle here. And you're just going to pin it or clip it in place there. And then you'll just straight stitch that on your machine. I like to kind of go over it a few times just to make sure that everything holds. Okay, so you're all set to just sew those last few things and be all done. So you're going to sew on the hook and eye, straight stitch right here, and then you're going to do the shoulder seams straight stitch right there. Once you've attached the hook and eye and these straps, you're all done and your bra is all set and ready to go. I hope you guys have enjoyed this sew along. If you have any comments or questions, again, please put them in the video, including ways that I could make these videos better, more helpful for you in the future. If you are using Serge products for your Hannah bralette, you can post the final photo in the album to be entered for a chance to win a $20 gift card. If you're not using Serge products, go ahead and post them as well. We'd love to see your work. You just won't be entered in the drawing. Again, thank you all for joining us, and we look forward to seeing you next time. Thank you.